What's going on, guys? So, Baby Driver, Edgar Wright's newest film, is out in theaters in less than 2 weeks. I am so pumped. I'm a huge Edgar Wright fan. And of course, in preparation for it, I promised you guys I would do a mini Edgar Wright series leading up to it. So I'm going to be talking about his first 3 films, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and Scott Pilgrim. And today we're going to be taking a look back at his first film, Shaun of the Dead, which came out in the year 2004 and stars Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and Kate Ashfield. Now before I start this review, I just want to say 2 things. First one being that I am not going to be talking about The World's End, and I will explain at the end why that is. And second is that this review will contain heavy spoilers to characters and the plot, so if you have not seen Shaun of the Dead, you guys need to watch the movie and come back to this review. In this movie, Simon Pegg plays Shaun, a slacker you could call, who's having a very tough relationship with his girlfriend named Liz, played by Kate Ashfield. He has a best friend named Ed, who's of course Nick Frost, and the two of them are actually best friends in real life. And all of a sudden, one day, things start to go a little weird. People are starting to get sick, nobody knows what's going on, people are starting to get bitten, and of course, the next day, a zombie apocalypse breaks out, and Shaun, Ed, Liz, and their friends need to escape this apocalypse if they're going to survive. Now, as I said in my intro, I am a big fan of Edgar Wright. I think he is truly one of the best directors out there. I don't think he has made a single bad film. He directs and edits movies like no one else working today, in my opinion. Every single scene in this movie is so memorable, or it has a moment in it that just completely stands out. Whenever a character is introduced, there's always a sound effect accompanying that.
It's not that I don't like Ed. Ed, it's not that I don't like you.
It's all right. It's not that I don't like David and Donnie, you know. Guys, it's not that I don't like you.
All right.
You do know the front door was open again last night.
Philip?
Shaun.
I just think it is really cool direction, and that is just a taste of what Edgar Wright is willing to offer. And speaking of Edgar Wright's direction, let's talk about his scene transitions. They still blow me away. I cannot believe how seamless he makes it look. It's absolutely incredible. There is not a single time throughout this film where there is a scene transition and I think to myself, oh, I clearly saw something move. It's always done in the best possible way. He knows how to do his tracking shots as well. And I love the parts of the movie where Shaun goes through his normal routine. The first time it's absolutely okay, everything's fine. But the second time, he is completely oblivious to the fact that everyone surrounding him is dead. It's amazing. I love the way he directed it. Something else Wright was able to do extremely well was infuse foreshadowing with either subtle dialogue, blunt dialogue, or even writings on the wall. Like when Shaun says to the soccer boy, "You're dead," and he actually is dead the next day. Or when Shaun literally writes out the steps of things he needs to do on a board on his refrigerator. Or the hints that blood will of course be shed when everyone tries to tell Shaun, "You've got red on you." Of course, guys, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the news sequences. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he found the time to do it. I don't know how he got the footage to do it in that perfect order. But every time Shaun switches from channel to channel, the dialogue is so in sync with the previous channel. It's absolutely amazing. We're going to talk about coordination in just a minute.
No one official is prepared to comment. Religious groups are calling it Judgment Day. There's panic on the streets of London as an increasing number of reports of serious attacks on people who are literally being eaten alive.
A witness reports are sketchy.
It's the subtle dialogue and the minor little hints at certain characters and certain traits about those characters that make this movie so good in my mind. Edgar Wright does a great job of adding layers to every single movie he's ever made. It definitely promotes rewatches. And upon rewatching this movie, there was something I noticed that I never noticed before watching this movie ever. During the opening credits, it focuses on a clerk named Mary in a store. And in fact, Mary is the girl that Shaun and Ed run into in their backyard, and they find out what's really going on. I never noticed that before. It was so cool. I just want to talk about Simon Pegg and Nick Frost again. They have perfect chemistry. Every time they work together on a movie, it is always good. It's always successful. I just want them to make more movies because whenever they make a film together, I am excited, and it always turns out to be good. And in Shaun of the Dead, they create 2 of the best gags I've ever seen in a horror comedy. The first one, of course, being the records.
Now, some of these are limited.
Whoa! What was that? I think it was Blue Monday.
Man, there was the original press ad. For fuck's sake.
And the second one is a gag that is actually used in every single film in the Cornetto trilogy, and that is, of course, this.
What's the matter, David? Never taken a shortcut before? What's the matter, Danny? You never taken a shortcut before?
So once Shaun rounds up the gang, they of course retreat to the Winchester, which is the pub that Shaun and Ed of course go to frequently. It turns into more of a claustrophobic horror thriller. And that's what I really like about it, because we get some more character development, we definitely get some more comedy, but I do think that it's a great change of pace. Not a change in tone necessarily to a degree that would screw up the movie. The most integral part of the scene, obviously, is Shaun being forced to literally kill his own mother. It's a very, very intense scene. It always gets me. And something I actually read about was, during that particular scene, Edgar Wright told Simon Pegg to think in his mind of him shooting his real mother. So once he committed the action, the tears he actually sheds were in fact his own genuine tears. They weren't acted tears. They were his real tears. Now we come to the final battle, which is basically everything you could have ever wanted for. It's fast, exciting, vibrant, kinetic, kick-ass. It's all fantastic. I talked about coordination earlier in this review, and I want to bring it up right now for this particular moment. And that is where Shaun, Liz, and Ed are beating the bartender with pool cues to the tune of a song.
It's time at the bar.
Now, I hadn't seen Shaun of the Dead in its entirety for quite some time, and there are parts of the movie I didn't quite remember. When I was watching this scene, something just hit me, and I realized this. I honestly believe that must have been one of the hardest shots ever. Because when you think about it, these are three people with pool cues hitting someone to the tune of a song where they have to hit him at every single beat. And as the beat gets faster and faster, or slower and slower, they go faster and faster and then slower and slower. I've made quite a few short films, and in a lot of them I've tried to coordinate certain actions, like someone punching someone, or someone pushing someone over, or someone pulling up a piece of paper and then revealing someone's face behind it. It's really hard just to do that thing specifically. I can't even imagine how hard that must have been, and the fact that the camera was rotating in a 360 motion. It's incredible, guys. It's moments like that that make Shaun of the Dead and Edgar Wright's films stand out. It's a major inspiration for anyone who wants to direct. Now, this is something that I've never quite gotten about this scene. So David, of course, now wants to leave, and he's, removing the chairs from the doors. And his girlfriend looks at him and she says, "You shouldn't do this. It'd be a very, very stupid thing to open that door." And then, of course, they grab him through the glass, they pull him out, and they rip his insides out, and it's a disgusting effect for sure. That was totally gross. They rip off his head. He is 100% dead, yet the girlfriend decides to open the door and go after him. I never quite understood that part of the movie. To me, it wasn't meant to be a joke, but then they kind of just took it that way. But of course, it's to have all the zombies come in and then surround the table. In the end, guys, Shaun of the Dead is a truly marvelous film. It's a movie that can be viewed in so many different ways. It can be viewed as a zombie horror flick, a horror comedy, a romantic comedy with zombies. I know that's one of the taglines for the movie, but it definitely works for your viewing experience. This is the kind of movie that I think anyone can watch and enjoy. Unless you're not a fan of gore. Because if you're not, even though it's funny, I think you might still be disgusted by certain parts of the movie. But if you're looking for a great horror comedy film to sit and watch with your friends, this is without a doubt one of those movies. It's a film that also is a heavy inspiration for people who want to direct. Guys, Shaun of the Dead is truly a great film, and I'm of course going to give it an A+. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen Shaun of the Dead. If you've gotten this far and you haven't seen it, well, I'm sorry, because I spoiled basically the whole movie. Anyways, guys, what do you think about it? I'd love to hear your comments, so send them in the comment section below. Guys, thank you so much, as always, for watching. I can't wait to talk about Hot Fuzz next week, and then Scott Pilgrim the next, in preparation for Baby Driver. And I just want to answer a lot of people's questions on why I'm not going to be talking about The World's End. Reason why is The World's End was my first ever review I ever published on this channel. I can't believe that in less than a month it'll be 2 years since I posted it. So what I decided to do is on July 11th, which is the second anniversary, I will be making a special update video talking about the movie and a couple other things. You guys are the best. Thank you so much and stay tuned.